because the crowd claps for comfort, but history remembers the ones who ignored the crowd completely. Mental toughness vs. comfort. Comfort is the quiet killer of greatness. Nobody warns you about this because comfort doesn't look dangerous. It looks like a soft bed, a skipped workout, an excuse accepted. But every time you choose comfort over discomfort, you're training your mind to quit. Mental toughness isn't built in motivational speeches or morning affirmations. It's forged in the moments you want to stop and you don't. It's the extra rep when your arms are shaking. It's waking up at 4 a.m. when the world says you're crazy. The shocking reality is this: most people are mentally soft, not because they lack potential, but because they've never chosen the hard path enough times to build calluses on their mind. Toughness is a skill, not a personality trait. And skills are built through repetition of pain, not comfort. If your mind breaks the second things get difficult, it's not because you're weak. It's because you've never trained it to suffer on purpose. The people who ignore everyone and everything holding them back are the ones who've made discomfort their addiction. Silence the outside noise. Build the inner voice. Here's something disturbing. Most people know more about their neighbor's opinion of them than they know about their own soul. That's a tragedy. The outside world is loud. Family doubts, friends' sarcasm, social media comparisons. And if you let that noise run your internal dialogue, you'll never hear the one voice that actually matters, your own. Building an inner voice means having brutal, honest conversations with yourself daily. Not motivational fluff, real accountability. Ask yourself the questions nobody else will ask you. Are you lying to yourself? Are you settling? Are you making excuses disguised as reasons? The people who accomplish extraordinary things aren't smarter or luckier. They've simply learned to trust their internal compass over external validation. They've stopped outsourcing their self-worth to people who don't even think about them 5 minutes after a conversation ends. Silence isn't empty. It's where your real power lives, hidden under years of noise. Reclaim it, and you'll realize you never needed anyone's permission to become who you're meant to be. Pain is a teacher. Society has convinced people that pain is the enemy, something to avoid, medicate, or complain about. That belief is exactly why most people stay mediocre their entire lives. Pain isn't your enemy. Comfort disguised as safety is. Every ounce of growth you've ever experienced came wrapped in some form of pain. Physical, emotional, or mental. The shocking truth is that people who avoid pain end up suffering the most in the long run, because unlived potential is its own kind of suffering, just slower and quieter. Those who lean into pain, who treat suffering as feedback instead of failure, end up building unshakable resilience. Pain teaches you your real limits, then shows you they were never real to begin with. It strips away excuses and reveals character. The next time pain shows up, in a workout, a failure, a rejection, don't run from it. Interrogate it. Ask what it's trying to teach you. The people who ignore the discomfort of growth stay comfortable and stagnant forever, while the ones who embrace pain as their teacher end up rewriting their entire identity. The prison of public opinion. Public opinion is one of the most dangerous prisons ever built. And the terrifying part is that people build the bars themselves. From childhood, most people are conditioned to seek validation. Good grades for praise, good behavior for approval, achievements for applause. By adulthood, this conditioning becomes a cage where every decision is filtered through, what will people think? This mindset destroys authentic ambition. It turns dreamers into people pleasers and warriors into spectators of their own lives. Here's the shocking twist. The very people whose opinions you fear the most probably aren't even thinking about you. They're too busy worrying about what others think of them. It's an endless cycle of fear, feeding fear, and nobody wins. Breaking free from public opinion doesn't mean becoming reckless or arrogant. It means becoming so locked into your own mission that outside noise simply loses its grip. Freedom isn't the absence of critics. It's the ability to move forward despite them, loudly and unapologetically, until your results silence the doubts nobody had the courage to voice to your face, becoming ungovernable, owning your path. The final and most powerful note: to ignore everyone effectively, you must become ungovernable by other people's expectations. This doesn't mean disrespecting others. It means refusing to let anyone else's map dictate your journey. Most people die with their true potential buried inside them because they let fear, tradition, or crowd mentality write their life story. Becoming ungovernable means you take radical ownership of every decision, every failure, every win. Nobody gets to blame others when you're ungovernable, because you've claimed full responsibility for your life's direction. This is uncomfortable because blame is easy and ownership is heavy. But the shocking truth is that the heaviest weight, full ownership, is the very thing that sets you free. When you stop asking for permission and stop needing validation, you become a force nobody can manipulate, discourage, or control. That's when your real path begins. Not the path handed to you by society, but the one you carve yourself, ignoring every voice that never had the guts to walk it. What if everything you've been taught about fitting in is the exact reason you're still stuck? What if the applause you've been chasing your whole life has been quietly killing your dreams one clap at a time? Stop for a second and really think about that. Every time you shrunk yourself to make someone comfortable, every time you swallowed your ambition because somebody raised an eyebrow, every time you asked for permission to chase something that was never theirs to approve, you were bleeding out, slowly, silently, and calling it being nice. Being nice doesn't build empires. Being nice doesn't get you out of bed at 4 in the morning when your body's begging you to quit. Comfort is a disease, and most people are terminally infected, walking around thinking they're fine while their potential rots in a coffin they built with their own hands out of other people's opinions. You want to know the truth? Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to hand you the mental toughness required to become who you're capable of becoming. You have to build it, rep by rep, mile by mile, failure by failure. In the dark, when nobody's watching, when nobody's clapping, when nobody even knows you're fighting a war inside your own skull. That's where real strength is forged. Not on a stage, not in a highlight reel, but in the ugly, silent moments where you had every excuse to quit and you didn't. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is the only teacher that never lies to you. Everyone else will tell you what you want to hear. Pain tells you the truth. Where you're weak, where you're soft, where you've been hiding behind comfort disguised as peace. And when you finally stop running from that pain and start mining it for lessons, you become somebody the old version of you wouldn't even recognize. Here's what's really disturbing. Most of the people whose opinions control your life aren't even thinking about you. They're too busy drowning in their own fears, their own insecurities, their own unlived potential. You've been handing your one and only life over to people who wouldn't sacrifice 5 minutes for you. That ends today. You don't need their blessing. You don't need their understanding. You don't need their applause. You need your own fire. The kind that burns so hot that outside noise simply can't survive near it anymore. Becoming ungovernable means you stop blaming your family, your circumstances, your bad luck, your past. You take the wheel, all of it, the good and the brutal, and you drive your own life like it's the only one you'll ever get. Because it is. Nobody's walking your path for you. Nobody's suffering your struggles for you. So why are you letting them dictate your direction? The people who change history, who build the impossible, who turn pain into power, they all have one thing in common. They stopped asking the crowd for permission. They stopped needing the world's approval to move forward. They looked inside, found something the world tried to convince them didn't exist, and they built their entire life around it. Loudly, relentlessly, unapologetically. So ask yourself right now, what dream have you buried because someone raised an eyebrow? What goal have you shrunk because it made somebody uncomfortable? What version of you is still waiting, trapped, because you were too busy chasing approval from people who will forget your name the moment you stop being useful to them? It's time to bury that person. It's time to build calluses on your mind. It's time to run toward the pain instead of away from it. It's time to become somebody the crowd can't control, can't predict, and can't stop. Because you've stopped asking them for anything at all. This is bigger than a speech. It's a decision. A decision to stop outsourcing your life to people who never earned that power. A decision to embrace pain as fuel instead of running from it as a threat. A decision to build a mind so tough that outside noise becomes irrelevant. Ignoring everyone doesn't mean disrespecting people. It means refusing to let their fear become your ceiling. Your life, your pain, your discipline, your path. It was never meant to be a democracy. It was always meant to be a dictatorship of one, you. So take it back. Build the calluses. Silence the noise. And walk a path so uniquely yours that nobody else could have ever shown you the way. Because it was never theirs to show. What if the biggest lie you've ever been told is that you need everyone's approval to become somebody? What if the applause you're chasing right now is the exact reason your dreams are still buried, 6 feet under, suffocating under other people's opinions? Look around. Everyone's got an opinion about your life, your goals, your body, your business. But ask yourself this. How many of them have ever bled for what you're trying to build? How many of them wake up at 4 a.m. fighting the war you're fighting? None. 0. So why do you keep handing them the power to control your next move? You were not built to fit into a room full of comfortable people. You were built to break rooms open, to take pain and turn it into fuel, to take doubt and turn it into proof. Every rep nobody sees, every mile nobody claps for, every failure nobody witnesses. That's where you're being built into something unstoppable. Ignore the noise. Ignore the doubt. Ignore everyone who never bled for your dream. Because in 60 seconds, you're either going to close this video and go back to seeking approval, or you're going to stand up right now and start building the life only you were meant to live. What's it going to be?